I was approached by another extortionist today. Does she say that?
No, she's talking very carefully.
And you say carefully, but isn't carefully the same thing as code?
No, they're two totally separate things. You know the difference?
You weren't really giving her money for a TV, were you?
Giving her money for a TV?
This TV is probably going to be about $5. Okay. I need you to bring cash tonight.
I wish she picked another object on planet Earth other than TV. But TV is code for absolutely nothing. There is no code in this case involving TV. And you keep circling and circling and circling TV, you're wrong.
Is it a coincidence that the repair of the TV that you bought Wendy as a divorce gift because it was cheaper than hiring a hitman is your sister's alibi for the murder, and then your mom brings up TV first call on the wire?
It's not an alibi for a murder. She had a broken TV. You got to ask Lincoln who threw the remote at the TV.
Was it a coincidence? Is the TV thing a coincidence? That's what I hear you say.
Oh, that the repairman was there that day?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is a coincidence for sure. There's a couple of coincidences in this case.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I said there's a couple of coincidences in this case. I mean, she had people send her an email to go buy a bottle of Bullet bourbon for their Stock the Bar party, and she was driving to a liquor store to buy a bottle of Bullet bourbon on that day, at that time, and her friend sent the email, and you have the email in evidence. Like, is that a coincidence? Yeah, coincidences happen.
And the you might not be the right Katie talk, that doesn't seem to really fit with your theory of the case, does it? What was your explanation for that? Why you kept saying you might not be the right Katie? I mean, she's definitely the right Katie, right?
Absolutely. She knew it was. I was implying it was her. I was just trying to say I'm not setting you up, but I need your help.
On call B, your mom, you call your mom back, and you say, you probe her a little bit, and ultimately you say, you think someone's...
What if I told you that a successful South Florida dentist, driving Ferraris and living the high life, orchestrated one of the most calculated contract killings in recent history? What if I told you it took investigators 9 years, an elaborate FBI sting operation, and a web of recorded conversations to finally bring him to justice? And what if I told you the victim was his own former brother-in-law, a brilliant law professor, shot in broad daylight in front of his children's home? This is the story of Charlie Adelson, a man who thought he was untouchable, a man who believed his wealth and cunning could buy him freedom from consequences. But in the end, his own words, his own arrogance, and his own family would seal his fate. Before we dive into one of the most twisted family conspiracies in true crime history, if you're fascinated by cases where justice takes years to unfold, where every phone call and every dollar tells a story, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for Dark Trail Files, because we're about to unravel a case so complex, so calculated, that you'll question how anyone could believe they'd get away with it. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single detail of what's coming. Now, let's begin.
Trying to blackmail you? That's crazy. Why does it sound like this is something that's new and unfathomable to you at that moment?
Well, because I wasn't even following what my mom was talking about on the first call. And on the second call, when she shocked me when she said that. And I'd been extorted before, and her saying to bring cash, everything just didn't sound right.
Could we play clip 4, please? This is from Dolce.
What? Sorry, from what?
Clip 4 from Dolce.
Okay.
Even if they had any evidence, the first words out of your mouth on this clip, even if they had any evidence. No. Strike. The quote is, if they had any evidence, we'd have already gone to the airport. And I know you already testified about this, but does an innocent person say, if they had any evidence?
Right. Katie's saying it's the police, and I'm saying that we're innocent. They're not going to have any evidence to show we were part of something that we were part of. If we had any part of this, we'd be going to the airport right now. And I still
Isn't
say
it
the
true,
same
doctor,
thing.
that they're not going to have any evidence because you were careful?
No, because we weren't a part of this.
You were smart.
No, we weren't a part of this.
You walled yourself off from
I was
the
sure
killers.
they're not going to have evidence to show I did something I didn't do. So we're not running to the airport.
And you're untouchable, right?
No, we didn't do a murder. I wasn't part of a murder. There's no reason to run to the airport.
In the next clip, you're discussing what's going to happen if this person that did the bump goes to the police. And you're going through all these scenarios, these possibilities.
Wait, if he goes to the police?
Yeah, the blackmailer goes to the police. They're going to say, where's the weapon? And he's not going to know. He's just going to have hearsay, basically. Someone told me they did it. And it's not going to be enough to get the investigation anywhere. Why are you thinking through the possibility of the blackmailer going to the cops if the blackmailer doesn't have any dirt on you to take to the cops?
I wasn't thinking about the blackmailer. What I was trying to say is I don't know anything about Sigfredo. I don't know anything about this crime. I was trying to tell her that I'm harmless. I don't have any knowledge of what went on. Like, the last thing I wanted is that now that she's saying it's the police, is someone to come and kill me and think I'm some kind of loose end. So that's why I'm saying that.
But that's not what you're saying. You're saying if this is a person that Luis Rivera ran his mouth to, and they go to the police, it's going to be worth zero. Because they're not going to know anything other than, hey, my brother told me this.
I don't know if I was saying with someone who knows Luis Rivera. I was trying to make a point that I don't know anything.
And then you suggest what they would have to do is get him to wear a wire and get the person to confess, and that's probably what this could be, an effort to do, right?
Well, they're thinking that we were part of a murder. So this was the same thing I said before, is that this is their theory. So this is a police tactic, and it could be either a bad guy or the police, and this is how they're pursuing it.
Exactly. So as long as you keep your mouth shut, you can get away with murder, right?
No, not at all.
Isn't that what you told Ryan Fitzpatrick?
No, Ryan Fitzpatrick is someone who stole over $500,000 from me.
That's not my question, sir.
Sorry.
Did you say that to Ryan Fitzpatrick?
No, never at all.
Why do you go into so much detail about rental car examples? Let's start with, strike that. Can you agree that the Prius, you knew that the police were looking for a Prius at the time you met at this Dolce Vita restaurant?
I think it had been released at that time.
All right, and you heard the recording. You're arguing. Let's play the clip. This is going to be clip, I think, let's play 7 and 8, please. Dolce.
Because the fact is, it's like, even if, let's say, you just out of my car, and then I go ahead and I get in the car, and I go, and you're dating in the car, I go, yeah, Katie was in my car, and he got out, and she did this horrible crime. Okay, they come and they get the DNA in the car, and they go, no, Katie was in my car. No, Katie sat in the car for 2 minutes, got out of the AC, and then got out of the car. Katie has nothing to do with you guys and broken me. Outside of that, there's no evidence. Okay? If you have a car and you can link this person to renting that car that you drive, okay. But you have to prove that they were also driving that day too, and rented it and lent it to a friend. What if you rented a car and I go, Katie, can I borrow for the weekend? I'll bring it back on Tuesday. You go, yeah, sure. So you rented a car. You've been in that car. I drive into fucking Orlando. I rob McDonald's in Orlando. I come back and I go, here's the keys, Katie. And you go, okay, thanks. Yeah, you rented it. But what if you were fucking out all weekend and you didn't even know I took your car? I did something and I brought it back. Okay. My point is, I don't have any knowledge of what. Evidently, this person is pretending to or does. I don't want someone paying business. Okay.
Sounds like you're saying even if they track down the Prius, even if there's DNA or fingerprints in the Prius, meaning like they can link someone to the Prius, that's not going to be enough evidence to make any arrests in this case. Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. What I'm doing is I'm restating.
You've answered my question.
Can I give you an
On redirect, you'll have an opportunity.
Well,
my question was.
One moment.
My question
We're not
was-
just wildly arguing. Mr. Adelson, please answer the question.
okay.
I can just ask you a yes or no question.
Please allow me to
and you're-
answer your question.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Help yourself out.
What I was saying to Katie is that the information she had just told me in the car about Sigfredo not being there when the crime was committed, she told me that Sigfredo was high on drugs at the hotel and that Luis had rented a car and that he's the one who killed Dan. And I'm restating to her that I don't have any knowledge of what went on, and that all I know is that Sigfredo wasn't even there when this happened. So that's what I'm restating to her.
That Sigfredo can't be caught even if he's connected to the crime, to the car?
I know that Sigfredo wasn't the one who killed Dan.
Okay.
July 18th, 2014. A quiet morning in Tallahassee, Florida. Dan Markel, a respected Florida State University law professor, pulled into his driveway after a routine trip to the gym. He was 41 years old, a brilliant legal mind, a devoted father to two young boys. Within moments, two men in a rented Toyota Prius would end his life with 2 shots to the head. Dan died the next day, July 19th, leaving behind a community in shock and a family forever shattered. But this wasn't a random act of violence. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong. This was a meticulously planned execution, funded by family money, coordinated through romantic relationships, and carried out by hired killers from Miami. And at the center of it all was Charlie Adelson, Dan's former brother-in-law, a man who would spend the next 9 years insisting he was innocent while the evidence slowly closed in around him. To understand how we got here, we need to go back to the custody battle that would become a death sentence. Dan Markel had been married to Wendy Adelson, Charlie's younger sister. They met in law school, built careers as legal academics, and had 2 sons together. But their marriage crumbled, and by September 2012, Wendy filed for divorce. The split was bitter, complicated, and ultimately defined by one central conflict, where the children would live. Wendy wanted to move back to South Florida to be near her wealthy, tight-knit family in Fort Lauderdale. Her parents, Donna and Harvey Adelson, owned a successful dental practice. Charlie was a periodontist, living a flashy bachelor lifestyle with expensive cars and an endless rotation of girlfriends. The Adelsons were accustomed to getting what they wanted, but Dan Markel refused to allow Wendy to relocate with their children. He wanted to remain an active, present father in Tallahassee. The court sided with him, granting 50-50 custody and prohibiting Wendy from moving the boys out of the area. Years later, when confronted with the accusations, Charlie would offer his version of events.
Did you have any input on the decision to change the boys' names from Markel to Adelson?
Absolutely not.
Do you and Donna have to protect Wendy?
No.
Does Wendy appreciate everything you and Donna do for her?
You got to ask her. I mean, she's my sister. I love her. I try to give her my best advice I can. And if I care about her, and I give her my advice, whether she takes it or not, is up to her. She's a grown woman.
Let me ask it another way. Do you feel, or isn't it true that you don't feel that Wendy appreciates everything you and Donna do for her?
My sister had no idea what I've been through in the last, God knows how many years, and what I wake up worrying, am I going to get killed? Am I going to get arrested? And she knows none of it. She's just going around her life, and I had somewhat of an innate anger towards her. Mm-hmm. You know, probably unjust because she didn't know what happened. But yeah, I was upset.
And weren't you saying on the wire that she doesn't appreciate what you and Donna have done for her?
I don't know if I said that she doesn't appreciate what I've done for her, because I never did anything for her.
Okay, so that was my next question. What have you done for her? Nothing?
Other than give her advice and care about her, be a big brother that loves her. Like,
Would you say Wendy's a little bit spoiled?
in some regards, I mean, she gets a lot of help for sure.
Is she a little less savvy about how the world works than you are?
I don't know. I mean, you got to ask her.
Could you trust Wendy with a secret that could ruin your life?
It's not a secret. It's something that would get me killed. So I didn't want to tell her.
Can we agree that she obviously knew something about this crime?
She found out when she came to court. I never told her anything.
I'm talking about the murder of Dan Markel. She knew something, right? I mean, it's not a coincidence she went to the crime scene, is it?
You're talking about the route that she took that day?
I'm talking about her pulling up to the crime scene tape.
She never went to the crime scene. She was going to buy a bottle of liquor that coincidentally the person sent her a stock the bar party buy a bottle of bullet bourbon that she was going to pick up. She wasn't driving to a crime scene. And I think she made that clear too. Nobody knew a murder was taking place.
She pulled up to the crime scene tape, Dr. Adelson.
She didn't pull up to the crime scene tape. She was driving down the street and then had to make a U-turn. It was blocked off. But she wasn't going to.
She couldn't help herself. Isn't
Nobody
it?
knew a murder was going to take place.
She exposed you all to some degree by those actions, didn't she?
No, not at all.
And then she threw you under the bus in her interview, didn't she?
Nobody knew a murder was going to take place.
She knew her husband had just been shot, and they were asking her who would want him dead, and she said your name. Are you mad about that?
No, she said a lot of people's names.
Well, she
Not at
said
all.
yours in the first 25 pages of a 5-hour interview. Isn't that true?
I wasn't there for the interview.
But you've reviewed it in preparation for your trial, haven't you?
I actually don't know if I've seen her interview.
There was a lot of questions of you about, didn't you do this murder with Wendy? Doesn't the state think you did this murder with Wendy? Are you familiar with your charges in this case?
Yes, I'm very familiar with my
All right.
charges.
And who are you alleged to have done this murder with?
I'm alleged to have done this murder with my sister, my mom, and my dad.
Would it refresh your recollection to review a copy of the indictment in this case?
I'm a slow reader, but I could read it if you want.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Okay.
And this is the official charging document in your case, Dr. Adelson. What does it say in reference to who you are alleged to have committed the murder with?
This is, what day is this? 2022. Oh, they think I did a murder with Katie.
Catherine McBanoa.
Yes.
Anybody else?
Give me a minute, I'll read. They got Luis Rivera in here. They got Sigfredo Garcia.
As being alleged to have committed the murder with you?
Did I read it too quick?
Take your time. Should just be at the very top of each charge. On or about July 18th, 2014, did unlawfully.
Okay. Yeah, Katie. Catherine.
Okay. Are you mad that Wendy hasn't been charged and you have?
No, I'm mad that I got charged for a crime that I didn't commit.
Do you have any innate anger with Wendy over that fact?
No, not at all.
Are you pissed that she told all that stuff to Jeff Lacoste?
I don't think she said that to Jeff, but I wasn't there.
How did Lacoste know about the celebration dinner?
That we went out to dinner. She got sick, so she may have told someone that she threw up.
And then what? He just added the part about you referring to it as a celebration?
I never referred to it as a celebration dinner. I picked my sister up. I said, where do you want to go to eat? She said she wanted pizza or sushi. I said, I know a great sushi place. We went there. We didn't have reservations. We ended up sitting at the bar for an hour waiting for our table, and she had 2 drinks and got sick.
She vomited on the dinner table, or at the dinner table.
Yeah, she got her to the bathroom, but yeah, she doesn't drink alcohol. So those 2 drinks, and I think on an empty stomach, I think she got really sick. But there was no celebration dinner. It was the first time that she actually really left the house since she got back from Tallahassee. She was devastated.
Did you say something to her about the murder of Dan Markel right before she vomited?
Absolutely not.
Do you remember what you said right before she vomited?
She was I think she said, "I don't feel well." And I say, "Oh no," and then she threw up.
Before that?
No, I think I said, "Oh no," and then she threw up.
Before she announced that she was going to be ill.
Right.
Do you remember what the conversation was?
How's the food? I mean, we were probably about halfway through dinner. If you look at the timetable, we weren't there long.
Why did you brag to Jeffrey Lacoste about your connection to the Cuban criminal element?
Never said that to Jeff Lacoste.
So he's making that up?
If he said it, I never said it.
Well, you were in here when he said it, weren't you?
I heard him say it, yeah. But I never said that to him.
On one of these calls, and it's in the context of talking about Dave and Wendy's relationship with Dave, you tell your mom that you've already gone above and beyond for Wendy. Was that a reference to having her ex murdered?
No, that's me getting tired of this Dave stuff. I mean, Dave's a great guy. I mean, everyone who meets him likes him. He's not only super successful, but he's very low-key, like T-shirts and jeans kind of guy. And he loved my sister's kids. I mean, if you listen to The Wire, the point I was making is not how successful he is. The point I was making is that my nephews farted on him, and he thought it was funny and didn't bother him. And he also has 3 young kids, the same ages as my sister's 2 young kids. They actually met in line when my sister was registering the kids for school, and they've been friends for years. So I thought it was a great opportunity for my sister to have a great guy in her life. And I was getting sick and tired of Dave calls, and The Wire started in April. My sister's birthday's in April, Dave's birthday's in April, so you got a ton of Dave chatter on this case. But believe me, I'd go crazy if I was talking about Dave like this all year long.
So that's a no? You did not reference having her ex murdered?
Absolutely not.
When you said
no.
You've already gone above and beyond?
No, that was me getting sick of dealing with the Dave stuff. As great as the guy as he is, I was still getting sick of it.
When the $1 million offer was conceived, do you recall whose idea that was?
My parents.
Why was the relocation worth $1 million?
Well, it was actually I was going to pay a third, so I only looked at it as that way. Why was it worth it?
Mm-hmm. That's the question.
Because it was going to help my sister out, and it was going to give her a good opportunity for a good job down here, and she was going to be around family, and family's important, so that's why.
Isn't it true that financially you came out ahead on this deal as opposed to if you had coughed up the third of the $1 million offer?
How in the world did I come up ahead? This is the craziest
Financially,
thing.
you paid $138,000, then you paid $2,000 a month plus the $1,000 payroll amount. You're still about over $100,000 ahead financially than if you had coughed up the $333K.
No, I would have been better off paying. And first of all, I never paid for murders. This is a crazy question, but paying $3,000 a month for life is not anything anybody wants to do.
I didn't say anything about paying for a murder. I said you paid $138,000, which you did.
I got extorted for $330,000.
For the Adelson family, this wasn't just an inconvenience. It was an outrage. Text messages between Charlie and his mother Donna reveal the depth of their fury. In one exchange from February 2014, just months before the killing, Donna texted Charlie complaining about Dan showing up at their grandson's soccer game. She called him vile names, describing how he'd interfered when Wendy tried to leave with the boys. Charlie's responses showed a man who saw Dan as an obstacle that needed to be removed. Friends and acquaintances would later testify that Charlie repeatedly made jokes about hiring a hitman, saying it would be cheaper than legal fees. He'd even given Wendy a television as a divorce gift, joking that it was cheaper than hiring a hitman to solve her Danny problem. But these weren't jokes. They were a glimpse into a plan already taking shape. Because Charlie had something most people don't have when they fantasize about making problems disappear. He had connections. He had a girlfriend named Catherine Magbanua, a woman caught between two worlds. Catherine had 2 children with Sigfredo Garcia, a Latin Kings gang member with a criminal record, and Charlie was dating her. According to Catherine's eventual testimony, Charlie first approached her about the idea during Halloween of 2013. He asked if she knew anyone who could hurt someone. He was planting seeds, testing waters, seeing if his fantasy could become reality. By June and July of 2014, he wasn't subtle anymore. He was adamant. The job needed to get done. Catherine testified that Charlie gave her a sealed manila envelope, a kill sheet with Dan's information and photo inside. He told her not to open it, not to touch it. He'd worn gloves handling it, hadn't printed it at his office, hadn't licked the envelope to avoid leaving DNA. This was premeditation at its finest. Catherine passed the information to Sigfredo Garcia, who recruited his friend Luis Rivera. Neither Garcia nor Rivera knew Dan Markel. They had no personal stake in this. It was purely business, a contract killing for $100,000. The money came from the Adelson family. The coordination came through Catherine. The execution would come from 2 men who traveled from Miami to Tallahassee with murder on their minds. Luis Rivera, one of the hired killers, would eventually tell investigators exactly how it all went down.
I want to clarify one thing. You didn't extort Charlie Adelson, right?
No.
One moment. Veronica, are you having problems still hearing? All right. If you can assist him. Mr. Rivera, make sure you speak as loudly as you can,
right.
sir.
Thank you.
And the answer to that question was no, right?
No.
You were paid $37,000 in your role in the murder of Professor Markel, right?
Yes.
You were supposed to be paid $35,000.
Yes.
Sigfredo Garcia, the shooter, gave you an extra $2,000, right?
Yes.
Your understanding was that the total payment was $100,000, correct?
Yes.
And that it was a one-time payment.
Yes, sir.
And you were told that you, Sigfredo, and Katie were hired by a lady to do a murder for hire, right?
No. If I was told about a lady,
No, I'm sorry. Let me slow down. You were told by Sigfredo that all of you were hired by a lady to do the murder, right?
yeah.
That you were doing it so that she could get her kids back.
Yes, sir.
And all of your information came from Sigfredo Garcia and Katie, correct?
Sigfredo, yes, sir.
Okay. And all of Sigfredo's information, to your knowledge, came from Katie, right?
Yes, sir.
Everything you knew about the murder plot came from Sigfredo.
Yes, sir.
According to you, Katie was the mastermind.
Yes, sir.
She was the one, as you've said, running the shots.
Yes, sir.
Anything that Sigfredo or you did in connection with the murder had to be cleared through Katie, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Sigfredo and Katie lied to you about a lot of things about this murder, right?
Not about what?
Well, let's go through it. For starters, during the first trip in early June, Sigfredo told you that you were going to do a robbery, right?
Yes, sir.
Not until on the way up did you find out that you were going to do a murder.
Yes, sir.
Before the July trip, you didn't want to go, right?
Yes, sir.
And to convince you, Sigfredo again told you that you were just going there to scope things out.
Yes, sir.
During the second trip, the day before the murder, you drove by Professor Markel's house. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And you testified that at some point after you arrived at Markel's house, after noon on the 17th, you saw a woman and 2 kids walking on Trescott by the house,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And the woman looked at you as the Prius passed and immediately got on her phone.
Yes, sir.
You testified that you asked Sigfredo what was up with the lady. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And Sigfredo responded that that's her. That's the guy's wife. That's the one that wants the kids back.
Yes, sir.
You asked Sigfredo what the lady was doing there on Trescott with the kids.
Yes, sir.
And Sigfredo responded that she came there to make sure that everything was all right,
Absolutely.
meaning all right with the plan.
Yes, sir.
As you sit here now, you're aware that the woman and the kids on the street was not the same lady, right?
I don't know if that was her or not, but she looked at my car.
It's possible that Sigfredo lied to you, right?
Who knows?
Another lie that Sigfredo and strike that, Your Honor. Your understanding is that the money for the murder would be paid by the lady, right?
Yes, sir.
Again, your understanding came from Sigfredo.
Yes, sir.
You didn't go with Katie to get the money, right?
No.
So you don't know where she got it from,
No.
and you don't know what happened when she got it.
No.
Sigfredo never told you that he and Katie got more than $100,000 the night of the murder, did he?
No.
That would make sense why you got an extra $2,000, right?
Maybe.
And Katie never told you that they got more than $100,000 the night of the murder, right?
No.
Sigfredo never told you that he and Katie were getting paid every month after the murder, right?
Never knew nothing about that.
You didn't know that they were getting paid $3,000 a month.
No.
You didn't know that they were getting paid $1,000 in Adelson Institute checks, did you?
Nope.
But you saw that Sigfredo was spending a lot of money, right?
Yes.
You saw that Sigfredo even told you that he had paid for Katie's breast augmentation surgery, right? Her breast surgery?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. If you told me about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He told you he paid for it, right?
That's what he said.
You didn't know that Katie was getting money from Charlie Adelson every month in an extortion plot, did you?
No.
In May of 2015, you get arrested on a federal RICO case, right?
Yes, sir.
And you were detained.
Yes, sir.
And you wanted to get out of prison, right? You wanted to get a bail.
Yeah.
You started thinking about the fact that Katie and Sigfredo seemed to be spending a lot of money, right?
No.
Okay. So let's briefly recap all the lies that they told you. Not that you made, but that they told you. They lied to you about the purpose of the trip going to Tallahassee, right?
Yeah.
They lied to you about who the lady was on the street.
Yeah.
They lied to you about the amount of money they received.
Yeah.
They lied to you about getting money every month.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it possible that they lied to you about the purpose of the job to begin with?
They don't even got the money. Where they want to get the money from?
Isn't it possible that you thought it was a murder for hire, but it was really an extortion?
Extortion to who?
Charlie Adelson, not from you, but from them.
Okay.
Isn't it possible?
I don't know.
By the way, on Friday, you testified that you just wanted to rob the lady, right?
Yes, sir.
But Sigfredo was adamant. We can't rob the lady. We got to do the murder.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that because he wanted to keep on getting money every month?
I don't know.
But you would have just robbed him, right?
Yep.
Would have been a lot easier, right?
Real quick.
Would have been a one-time payment, right?
That's it.
Couldn't have gotten paid over time, though, right?
I don't know.
Well, if you rob someone, it's hard to keep robbing them over and over and over again. Right?
Absolutely, of course.
All right, so I want to back up a little bit, and I thank you for your honesty there. You've never met Charlie Adelson, correct?
Nope.
You've never seen him before this case.
Nope.
You've never spoken to him by phone.
Never.
And you've never communicated with him in any way.
Never.
You've never met Donna or Harvey Adelson.
Nobody.
You never spoken to them by phone.
I didn't meet nobody.
And the same goes with Wendy Adelson, correct?
Nobody.
You knew Sigfredo your whole life.
Yes, sir.
You're like brothers.
Yes, sir.
You've known Katie since she and Sigfredo started dating when they were teenagers.
Yes, sir.
You considered them to be married.
Yes, sir.
Sigfredo was deeply in love with Katie, right?
Absolutely.
He would do, as you've said, anything for her, right?
Anything.
He was, as you said, blind over her, right?
Yes, sir.
Katie treated him badly.
Yes.
She messed up his head, as you've said, right?
Yes, sir.
At some point, you learned from Sigfredo that Katie was having a relationship with someone she worked with, right?
Yes, sir.
Sigfredo told you that Katie was cheating on him with someone called the dentist.
Yes, sir.
According to what Sigfredo told you, Katie was sleeping with the dentist at the same time she was sleeping with Sigfredo, right?
Yes, sir.
So Sigfredo knew that Katie was cheating on him,
Yes, sir.
and he wasn't too happy about it, right?
Nope.
Sigfredo told you that the dentist had money. Let me rephrase. Sigfredo told you that Katie told him the person she was with was rich.
No.
On their first attempt in mid-June, Garcia and Rivera stalked Dan, but couldn't complete the job because his children were present. They returned a month later. On July 17th, they checked into a Tallahassee motel. The next morning, they followed Dan from his home to the gym, tracking his movements, waiting for the perfect moment. When Dan returned home and pulled into his garage, they struck. Garcia fired the fatal shots while Rivera waited in the rental car, a Toyota Prius that Catherine Magbanua had rented for them. Then they drove back to Miami, where Catherine was waiting with their payment. Rivera would later testify that when Catherine dropped off the cash, it was the first time he'd ever seen stapled money. $100 bills, neatly organized, stapled in the corners. $37,000 for Rivera, $40,000 for Garcia, the rest for Catherine. The bills were damp, even moldy. Catherine believed Donna Adelson had literally washed the money before dropping it off at Charlie's house the night of the murder. Charlie didn't keep large amounts of cash at home. He kept it at his mother's house. And on July 18th, 2014, the same day Dan Markel was shot, Donna had delivered that cash to her son. For nearly 2 years, the Adelson family thought they'd gotten away with it. Dan Markel's murder made headlines. A law professor gunned down in his own garage in a safe neighborhood. The Tallahassee Police Department and FBI opened an investigation immediately. They tracked the rental car. They analyzed phone records. They followed the money. Cell phone data placed Garcia and Rivera in Tallahassee at the time of the murder. Financial records showed unusual cash payments flowing from the Adelson dental practice to Catherine Magbanua. But proving who orchestrated the hit was more complicated. Then came the breakthrough that would change everything. On April 20th, 2016, the FBI executed what they called the bump operation. An undercover agent approached Donna Adelson outside her Miami condo. He handed her a newspaper article about Dan Markel's murder with $5,000 written on it, along with a phone number to call. The agent posed as a Latin Kings gang member, a supposed brother of Luis Rivera, claiming Rivera wasn't being taken care of properly and needed money. If the Adelsons didn't pay, he'd collect the $100,000 reward offered in the Markel case himself. The FBI operation would lead to a series of recorded conversations that would become the prosecution's most powerful evidence.
Hello? Hola, diga. Hello, diga. Who is this? Who's this? Someone's been calling my family and trying to figure out who this is. In reference to what, man? Someone by the name of Sammy called? Yeah, that's me, man. All right, what's going on? Well, what's going on is
My brother Tato. Okay, my brother Tato has not been taken care of. His family's not been taken care of. I talked to a dentist. Why are you calling me? Who are you? I gave the number to a lady. I don't know Tato. You don't know Tato? I'm sure you know Katie and Tuto. They've been taken care of since the family problem been taken care of up north. I don't know who you are. You don't? Well, this is going away, my friend. Because let me tell you something. I was at Broward with Tato, and he told me the whole story. He told me nobody was taking care of him. Nobody was taking care of his family. The family was taking care of Katie and Tuto, and nothing's been taken care of with Tato. So we know what's going on. And Tato needs to be taken care of. Do the right thing. The lady already has the paperwork. She knows what I'm talking about. We know Katie. We know Tuto. We know they've been taken care of. All right, let me look at it. No more f***ing around, man. No more f***ing around. This ain't going away. You guys need to do the right thing for Tato. That's my brother, man. That's my brother, and he needs to be taken care of. His family needs to be taken care of, just like Katie and Tuto have been taken care of. I've never met these people, but let me call you back, okay? That's bullshit, man. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know this lady. I don't know your relationship with this lady, but we know what the f*** is going on. This ain't going away. Take care of Tato just like you take care of Katie and Tuto, man.
Donna's reaction was telling. She didn't call the police. She didn't express confusion about who this stranger was or what he wanted. She called Charlie immediately. Despite the undercover agent never mentioning Charlie's name, never saying anything about her son, Donna knew exactly who to contact. The FBI had tapped the call. Donna described being handed paperwork on the street, said it related to the two of us and an ex-girlfriend. Charlie called her back twice more. They were panicked, trying to figure out if this was a legitimate threat or law enforcement setting a trap. The next day, Charlie met Catherine Magbanua at Dolce Vita, an Italian restaurant in Miami. The FBI had wired the location. They recorded every word. In that conversation, Charlie revealed more than he ever intended. He talked in hypotheticals, describing how if someone robbed a business, they'd never get caught if they weren't in the car and didn't rent the vehicle. Dan Markel had been killed by two men who drove from Miami in a rental car. The parallel was obvious. Charlie told Catherine to handle the situation, to have Garcia or Rivera take care of the supposed extortionist. He said if they couldn't handle it, he'd find someone else who could. This was consciousness of guilt on full display. In the weeks that followed, the FBI agent continued pressuring Donna. He sent her a threatening letter. He texted her at 2 a.m, saying he wanted his money or he'd turn them all in. On May 6th, 2016, Donna called the undercover number. She acknowledged receiving the paperwork, the threatening letter, the text messages. She said she was taking him seriously. She wanted to know what he wanted. Throughout all of this, Charlie and Donna communicated constantly, discussing how to handle the situation, never once involving law enforcement. On May 25th, 2016, Sigfrido Garcia was arrested. The next day, police held a press conference officially naming him as a suspect. But Charlie wasn't arrested. Not yet. Investigators needed more. They needed the connections to be undeniable. The wiretap conversations between Charlie and Catherine would paint a picture of a man desperate to keep his story straight.
You may continue with publishing the next call.
Thank you, Judge. The next call is BB.
What happened? Somebody called my dad's office today, looking for him, saying that they dropped off some paperwork to him last week, and there was a phone number on there, and it's actually the person named Erica. then Erica called my mom up because she's like, normally I wouldn't call you up, but I got a strange phone call.
Where's the phone number that they're calling from, though?
I can ask Erica, but Erica said a guy by the name of Stanley called the office this morning saying that I left some paperwork with Dr. Adelson last week, and I left a number on there, and he needs to call me at that number.
No, somebody's like fucking pulling your bones and shit.
Well, this is the third.
Call the number. Call the number. They don't fucking call on my fucking phone.
There's someone who wants to be called back. Let's put it that way. Do you still have the number?
Yeah, well, obviously that number, nobody picks me up.
Well,
That's not a working number. It's like a Gmail number.
nobody's calling away. I'm just asking you to find out who the fuck it is.
It's like,
Yeah.
get that number that's off of the thing, off of the number, off of the freaking, caller ID.
At the office?
Yeah, obviously. Because this is like a fucking bullshit game.
Well, they're not coming out on foot. They're not writing letters, and they're not calling the office because they have nothing better to do.
Well, I don't know what to tell you because I called that number myself.
Okay, well, let's call that number again and find out what the fuck's going on.
And nobody picks up. And you just put another number and left a message.
Okay, well,
I'm trying to get whoever's threatening your family and helping you guys out. And trying to help you guys out, but it's like if they don't pick up, then what the fuck? It's like it's a fucking joke.
I understand that they fucking called this morning and they're waiting for the phone call. That's what I'm telling you. And since it's 3 times.
Number or whatever that is that's calling you or your family.
The 305.
Whatever it is.
6570. You have the number.
Exactly. That number is obviously it's like a non-working number.
Okay, can you find out?
Okay, and it's like what I don't know how to understand. It's either somebody's pulling your bones, somebody is just harassing you, or somebody's trying to get something out of you.
Okay. Find out who the fuck it is, because the other phone call is going to be the FBI. I'm telling you. Well, I'm telling you, and then when they do catch the person, they're going to be asking lots of questions about who Katie is.
We already spoke about this. It's like not even like a fucking joke anymore, because obviously it's like somebody's fucking harassing you guys, or somebody's harassing and using my name. And it's like,
Okay, make it through. Find out who the fuck it is. That's all I'm asking.
no, I'm gonna go straight on my fucking cell phone because it's fucking bullshit. It's fucking somebody trying to fucking pinpoint some bullshit. Like it's getting aggravating.
Yeah, it is. All I'm saying is find out who the fuck it is and tell them to stop playing their games. I don't know who you have to talk to, but it needs to be nipping the butt.
No, man, I'm gonna handle this shit myself, bro. Because this is some fucking bullshit. I'm gonna handle it my motherfucking self. Well, straight my motherfucking number. They fucking if Erica wants to call back and I go, is this the right number? Okay, I have your fucking whatever fucking shit taken care of. Okay, because this is fucking bullshit. I'm threatened, bro. I'm about to go to that fucking FBI. I'm fucking getting irate with this shit already. It's either the FBI fucking playing games or fucking whatever it is because I'm fucking getting pissed.
Alright, go find out.
I'm saying. You gave a wrong phone number. Maybe you're an idiot. You gave a fucking wrong number. Get the fucking number and fucking call because I'm gonna call them.
Okay.
And the fucking type to me, I don't even fucking give a shit about all these fucking coach shit, whatever shit anymore. Okay. I'm pissed the fuck off. Like, I'm gonna fucking go to the house right now.
Okay, well, either you go to the cops or we go to the cops.
Exactly.
We'll find out.
We're both gonna fucking go to the house because this is fucking bullshit.
We'll find out who the fuck this is. Because this person evidently knows you and knows your family.
Yeah,
they know me and they know my family. So.
You don't think they're not fucking scared the shit out of me? Like somebody's fucking saying my name out loud or whatever?
If someone's messing with you, they're messing with me. If someone's messing with me, they're messing with you. It's one and the same. So what I'm saying is, find out who the fuck
that number doesn't fucking work. If you can you get a wall, you go to different offices, call the motherfucking number. Keep the fucking number work. Bottom line. Because I tried myself and that shit does not work.
Please, call them, find out who the fuck it is now. Trust me on this. Find out who the fuck it is.
Get the number, listen to me, and get the number, and something wrong with the thing, because there were other people. I'm not talking to your parents, you don't fucking FBI, we're all fucking doing this thing, and fucking go, and fucking record whoever's around you. That's it.
Hey, you have to get back to this. You have the number I gave you the other day.
I have the fucking number, and I
Okay,
told
good.
you,
Call it.
listen, I called the number. There is not a working number.
Good.
Get the number that calls your fucking office.
Okay.
Listen to me for once.
I will. You're going to call Erica.
Fucking A, bro. I'm gonna fucking fuck up whoever the fuck is fucking with me.
I'm going to call my mom and have my mom call
Get the
your
fucking
office.
number. Because some
Which number?
fucking parents, a number's been called and that's not a working number. It's either somebody's playing you, somebody's having into some shit, and somebody's just trying to fucking aggravate somebody.
Okay, let me.
And I'm aggravated.
Do you want me to have Erica go on the caller ID and look to see what number that was that called?
It's a fucking number. Obviously, you're calling from somewhere else, and it's not the same number that you said. How about you call and find that out?
Okay, do me a favor. Try that number I gave you the other day, and I'm going to call my mom and tell her to call Erica and ask her to look it up on the caller ID. Okay? But call them.
Whatever it is.
All right. Tension's rising a little bit.
A little bit. Catherine Magbanua was arrested months later. Her first trial in 2019 ended in a hung jury, 10-2 for conviction. It was frustrating for investigators, agonizing for Dan Markel's family. But prosecutors didn't give up. They retried Catherine in 2022, and this time, she was convicted of first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation. Sentenced to life in prison plus 60 years. Sigfrido Garcia, the triggerman, was also convicted and sentenced to life without parole. Luis Rivera, who'd cooperated with investigators from the beginning, accepted a plea deal for 19 years, his testimony becoming crucial to building the case against those who hired him. Still, Charlie Adelson remained free, living his life in South Florida, running his dental practice, insisting he was innocent. But the walls were closing in. April 21st, 2022. Nearly 8 years after Dan Markel's murder, Charlie Adelson was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation to commit murder. His defense strategy was bold, almost absurd in its audacity. He claimed he was the victim of an extortion scheme. According to Charlie, Catherine Magbanua had told him after Dan's murder that dangerous people had committed the crime and would kill him and his family unless he paid them. He said he didn't hire anyone. He said he was being blackmailed. His trial began October 26, 2023, the day before his 47th birthday. The prosecution presented a devastating case built on phone records, financial documents, witness testimony, and those damning recorded conversations. Georgia Kappelman, the assistant state attorney who'd worked this case for years, methodically connected every piece of evidence. She showed the jury how Charlie had the motive, the means, and the connections to orchestrate this murder. She explained how the Adelson family had been making regular payments to Catherine Magbanua through their dental practice. 44 checks signed by Donna, disguised as salary, but really blood money. The prosecution's most powerful witness was Catherine Magbanua herself, who finally decided to tell the truth.
Ma'am, please say your name and spell your name.
Catherine Magbanua, Katherine
I see that you're in jail clothes. Are you currently in custody?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you in custody for?
For murder?
Are you doing a sentence for murder?
Yes, ma'am.
You were convicted of murder?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that the murder of Dan Markel?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a trial in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you testify?
Yes, ma'am.
You testified on your own behalf?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And when you testified, were you truthful with the jury?
No, ma'am. I was not.
Did you take the same oath that you just took today in your own trial?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your defense when you were tried?
That I had nothing to do with it.
All right. That we got it right in reference to Charlie Adelson and we got it right in reference to the killers,
Yes,
but you
ma'am.
weren't in the middle.
Yes, ma'am.
Was that true?
No, ma'am, it was not.
Were you in the middle?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
And didn't you also testify in the trial in which Sigfredo Garcia was convicted of murder?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
And what was his defense?
That he had nothing to do with it.
That we got it right in reference to Charlie Adelson and we got it right in reference to the killers, but he had nothing to do with it,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Objection, Your Honor. Reading.
Overruled, Ms. Calhoun, make sure you use any questions.
And was that defense truthful?
No, ma'am, it was not.
So Sigfredo Garcia was involved.
Yes, ma'am, he was.
So why tell the truth now?
I believe that the truth needed to come out now so that the family can get some type of closure.
Why didn't the truth need to come out last year or the year before or the year before that?
I was trying to defend myself.
You were trying to get off.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you think you'd be successful in your trial with that defense?
I thought so.
Has anyone promised you anything for your testimony here today?
No, ma'am.
Weren't you originally offered immunity for cooperation in this case?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
But you didn't take us up on that
No, ma'am, I didn't.
because you thought you could get off completely.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
And now you're doing a life sentence.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Did Charlie Adelson threaten to harm you if you told the truth?
No, ma'am, he didn't threaten me.
Did anybody threaten you to keep your silence?
No, ma'am.
Did anybody promise you anything if you remained silent all these years?
I wasn't promised anything, but I wasn't promised anything.
Go ahead, finish your thought. You weren't promised anything, but what?
I thought everything was going to be okay.
You thought you'd be acquitted.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, did you know Dan Markel?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did you have any personal beef with him?
No, ma'am, I did not.
What was your motivation for becoming a part of this murder plot?
Financially.
So not as a favor to Charlie Adelson?
Objection, Your Honor.
What is the objection?
I'll rephrase it, Your Honor. Was it a favor to Charlie Adelson?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Okay, but your primary motivation was not favor to Charlie Adelson?
Well, yes, ma'am, it was. And financially.
All right, because you were going to get paid for
Yes.
your part?
Yes,
How much
ma'am.
did you get paid?
I don't know the exact amount.
What was your relationship to Charlie Adelson?
He was my ex-boyfriend.
When did you meet him?
I believe that was in 2013.
Do you know what month?
Has to be around September.
Can you point him out and describe what he's wearing?
He's sitting over there with a blue jacket and a blue tie.
Let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
The record will reflect.
Show you what I marked as states 48. Recognize this exhibit?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
How do you recognize it?
That's when we went to Key West.
Is that a fair and accurate photo of you and Charlie Adelson?
Yes, ma'am, it
Is
is.
that when the two of you were taken when the two of you were dating?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, at this time I'd ask to move into evidence states 48.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
48 is admitted.
Do we have that for publication? So was this photo taken before or after the murder?
Before.
Who came up with the idea to kill Dan Markel?
Charlie.
So Sigfredo Garcia didn't come up with the idea?
No, ma'am, he did not.
Luis Rivera didn't come up with the idea?
No, ma'am, he did not.
When did the defendant first bring this idea up to you?
My first recollection was around Halloween of 2013.
Around Halloween or on actual?
On Halloween, yes, ma'am.
All right. What's your recollection of how that came up?
We were at a Halloween party in Lincoln Road, and right before we were about to go, he got in the car with me and he asked me a question.
What was the question?
Do you know anybody that can harm someone?
And did you know anybody that could harm someone?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Who was that?
Sigfredo.
And at the time, what was your relationship with Sigfredo?
It wasn't the best.
But he was the father of your children, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So were you dating both men at this time, or were you only dating Charlie?
No, I was only dating Charlie.
Okay. And so he meaning the defendant, initially said, do you know anyone that could harm someone? Was he aware of your connection to Sigfredo Garcia when he made that statement?
Not that I know of. No, ma'am.
Did you suggest Sigfredo Garcia at that time to the defendant?
No, ma'am.
What did you say?
I just said yes and kind of left it alone.
All right. Did it go any further than that at that time?
Not that night.
Did you know who he wanted harmed? At that time?
No, ma'am.
All right. Had you become aware during the course of your relationship with him that he had some kind of issue going on with his sister's ex-husband?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
What did you learn about that?
He was just stating that his mom and dad was stressed, and that his sister was having problems with her husband and custody of her 2 children.
And when did you learn that the person that the defendant wanted harmed was this ex-husband of the sister?
I believe later on.
All right. And when did you learn the name Dan Markel?
It wasn't until, I don't know if it was on my trial or when Sigfredo got arrested.
Okay, so even when he was killed, you didn't know the name of the person that was being killed?
Yes, I never knew his name.
How did the defendant refer to this person, if not by the name Dan or Danny Markel?
Wendy's husband.
Okay. So you knew that the person that was going to be initially harmed was Wendy's husband?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you knew that there were issues, or what did you know about the beef with him?
He painted this picture that this was a terrible man and making his family go through a lot custody-wise with his sister.
All right, and when he would say these things to you, is it in the context of his mom specifically or his family in general?
I believe it was more towards his mom.
Meaning what?
That his mom hasn't been sleeping, his mom is not eating. I know his dad wasn't the best health either, but he would refer to his mom a lot.
All right. And the reason she wasn't sleeping or eating, did that have to do with this ex-husband of Wendy?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever...
Catherine took the stand against her former boyfriend. She admitted lying in her previous trials. She admitted coordinating a murder. She described how Charlie had approached her, how he'd given her the kill sheet, how she'd recruited Garcia, how Charlie had been frantic and pacing with a gun the night of the murder. She said the money had been moldy because Donna had washed it. She denied ever threatening or extorting Charlie. She said she was telling the truth now because she wanted Dan's family to have closure and because she hoped one day to see her own children again. Charlie decided to testify in his own defense, a risky move that ultimately backfired. He spent hours on the stand trying to convince the jury he'd been extorted, that he'd paid Catherine out of fear. But prosecutor Georgia Kappelman tore apart his story during cross-examination. She asked why he'd never reported the supposed extortion to police, why he'd remained friendly, even romantic with Catherine if she was blackmailing him, why he'd made those comments at Dolce Vita about hypothetical criminals not getting caught. Charlie's answers were evasive, unconvincing. The jury saw through him. When Charlie described learning about Dan's death, his version of events strained credibility.
When you get to the house, you said you called Katie after your shower. Why did you call her?
To see if she was still planning on coming over and what time she was going to be there, because it was already like 10:15.
And did she come to your house that night?
Yeah, she said she was going to be leaving shortly, and I think I even said either text me or call me when you're on your way.
Did she actually come to your house that evening?
Yes, she did.
Okay. Around what time did she arrive?
She got there about 11 o'clock.
What happened when she arrived?
When she arrived to my house, she came in through the garage, entered into the kitchen from the side door like she always does, and she just looked panicked and upset. I mean, she walked straight in and gives me this big, tight hug and asked me, like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, just a horrible day." But she looked more upset than I've ever seen her. And I'm like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "No, I'm not." I'm like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "Just come sit down. I need to talk to you."
Where did you go?
We walked into the living room.
And what happened when you got to the living room?
We sat down on the couch, and she started to talk to me. And she said, "Listen, this is all my fault, but I had no idea anything was going to happen, but this is totally my fault. I spoke in too much detail about your family's personal problems, about your sister, Dan Markel, and the $1 million offer."
What did you say?
I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "My friend killed Dan, and he wants to be paid $1/3 of $1 million."
How did you react?
I was like, "What did you just say?" And she's like, "My friend killed Dan, and he wants you to pay $1/3 of $1 million."
What happened next?
I stood up, and I started cursing it. I'm like, "What the fuck? Are you kidding me?" And she's like, "No." I'm like, who did this? Who's your friend that did this?" And she's like, "I don't want to say. I can't say." And I said, who was it? And she just kept saying, "I'm not going to tell you." And I was like, was it Sigfredo? And she's like, "No, I'm not telling you." And I just walked in my bedroom and sat down on the edge of my bed.
What happened when you got in the bedroom?
She came into the bedroom, followed after me. She sat down next to me. She started telling me, like, "I'm so sorry. This is all my fault, but I didn't know any of this was going to happen." And I'm like, "Katie, I'm not going to be part of this shit. Like, I'm not going to be part of paying for a murder. This is insane."
On November 6th, 2023, after just 3 hours of deliberation, the jury returned guilty verdicts on all 3 counts: first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and solicitation to commit first-degree murder. Charlie Adelson showed little reaction. His mother Donna gasped. The Markel family, who'd waited more than 9 years for this moment, remained composed, though their relief was evident. Dan Markel's mother, Ruth, gave a victim impact statement minutes after the verdict. She spoke of the profound grief they'd endured, the brilliant life that had been stolen, the grandchildren growing up without their father. She thanked the prosecutors, the investigators, everyone who'd worked tirelessly to ensure justice was served. On December 12th, 2023, Charlie faced the consequences of his actions.
Counts be run concurrently.
Very well. Mr. Adelson, I'm going to give you the opportunity to make a statement if you wish. You do not have to speak. However, this is your opportunity if you choose to do so.
I do.
You may stand.
Same. I would just like to say that I maintain my innocence.
Very well. Please rise. I'm now going to pronounce the sentence. With the jury having found you guilty of all 3 counts that you were charged with in your indictment, of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and solicitation to commit first-degree murder. I am going to adjudicate you guilty of all three at this time, and you are going to be sentenced as follows. As to count one, the first-degree murder count pursuant to section 782.04 and 775.082 Florida statutes, you are sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of release or parole. As to count two, you are going to be sentenced consecutively to 30 years in the Department of Corrections for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. As to count three, you are going to be sentenced to 30 years in the Department of Corrections consecutively for solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The credit for time served that applies in this matter is how much?
597.
597 days will be applied as credit for time served in this case. If the clerk could please read all fees and costs that would apply as well.
$2,100 as a fine pursuant to Florida Statute 775.083, $105 as a 5% surcharge required by Florida Statute 938.04, $20 as a court cost pursuant to Florida Statute 938.06, Crime Stopper Trust Fund, $3 as a court cost pursuant to Florida Statute 938.01, subsection 1, Criminal Justice Trust Fund, $50 pursuant to Florida Statute 938.03, Crimes Compensation Trust Fund, $225 pursuant to Florida Statute 938.05, Local Government Criminal Justice Trust Fund, $2 as a court cost pursuant to Florida Statute 938.15, County Criminal Justice Education, County Code 7-26, $50 as a court cost pursuant to Florida Statute 775.083, subsection 2, County Crime Prevention, $3 as a court cost pursuant to Florida Statute 938.19, Teen Florida Assessment, Mayor County, Florida Code 7-28, $65 as a court cost pursuant to Florida Statute 939.185, County Additional Court Cost, County Code 7-24, with a total of $2,623.
Mr. Rauschbaum, is there any lawful objection for you to raise to the assessment as announced by the clerk?
No, Your Honor.
Those amounts will be assessed at this time. Ms. Kappelman, I will reserve 90 days of jurisdiction to address the cost of prosecution in this case. By statute, the state is entitled to the 100, but this is in excess of the 100 is what you're referring to.
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. 30 days to appeal both your conviction and now your sentence. Mr. Adelson, you are going to be fingerprinted today, and from here you are going to be sent to the Department of Corrections to begin serving your sentence. Mr. Rauschbaum, if you please can timely file the notice of appeal so that way there is no issues regarding any review of the conviction itself. Does either party have anything further to raise to the court before we finish for today?
Nothing from the state.
No, Your Honor.
We are in recess. Mr. and Mrs. Markel, have a good day. Thank you for being available so you can provide your victim impact statements. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Cheyenne, you can take this. This is the pre-sentence investigation information. Two count one.
The judge sentenced Charlie to life in prison for first-degree murder, plus an additional 30 years each for conspiracy and solicitation, to be served consecutively. Charlie would never be a free man again. He would spend the rest of his life behind bars, paying for the calculated, cold-blooded murder he orchestrated because his sister couldn't get her way in a custody battle. But the story wasn't over. The convictions weren't finished. November 13th, 2023. 1 week after Charlie's conviction, Donna Adelson arrived at Miami International Airport with a one-way ticket to Vietnam, a country with no extradition treaty with the United States. She was arrested before she could board the plane. The FBI had been watching. They'd seen her panic after her son's conviction. They'd intercepted her attempt to flee. Donna was charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation. The matriarch of the Adelson family, the woman who'd signed checks to Catherine Magbanua, who delivered cash to Charlie's house on the day of the murder, who'd been intimately involved in every aspect of this conspiracy, would finally stand trial. Her trial began in August 2025, nearly 11 years after Dan Markel's death. The prosecution argued that Donna wasn't just complicit. She was a driving force behind the murder. She'd wanted Dan dead so her daughter could return home with the grandchildren. She'd facilitated the payments. She'd washed the money. She'd coordinated with Charlie every step of the way. The evidence against her included those post-bump phone calls, the checks to Catherine, written notations in her daily planner with Dan's car information, and the testimony of her own children. Winnie Adelson took the stand, granted limited immunity for her testimony. She described the family dynamics, the pressure, the hatred toward Dan. Jeffrey Lacasse, Winnie's ex-boyfriend, testified that Winnie had told him Charlie looked into hiring a hitman to take care of the Dan Markel problem. She'd said it wasn't a joke. These weren't idle threats. These were plans being discussed openly within the family. Luis Rivera testified again. Catherine Magbanua testified again. Robert Adelson, Donna's estranged older son, testified about conversations with his mother about her knowledge and involvement. The prosecution presented a case showing Donna as a calculated, controlling matriarch who'd orchestrated a murder to solve her family's problem. The connection between mother and son would be forever captured in a recorded jailhouse call.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Charlie.
an incarcerated individual at the Leon County Jail. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept charges and consent to this recorded call, press 1.
Thank you for using Securus. You may start the
Charlie.
conversation now.
Charlie.
Hey there, how are you?
How are you?
Okay.
I'm all right.
Where are you? Are you still in that cell?
Yeah, I'm still in here. So the chief's gonna see me at some point today, and whenever he comes through, and then supposedly Dan's gonna come to the jail. And I asked them, they said when your attorneys get here, they'll take you out to see them. I'm sure I'll see them behind glass.
So I thought Dan. I didn't know that Dan went. I didn't know if he went home or not yesterday.
No, he's driving home today.
Okay. So they will let you see him today.
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to be behind glass. I'm going to be picking up a phone, talking to him through a sheet of glass.
So, did you get sleep last night?
Yeah, on and off. I mean, they got the lights on, and it's bright in here. It's like I just wanted to call and say hi. I don't even know why.
No,
that's okay.
I'm glad you said it. I was actually just talking to Dan, so it's not like we were sleeping.
Yeah.
But
you were talking to Dad or Dan?
Dan.
It's cold.
Yeah, but gonna have to talk when we have a moment about things that we need to take care of. Okay?
Yeah, I know the money and stuff like that. No, I got you.
Roman.
What?
And I have things I need to take care of for Roman and ways that we can take care of him and help him. So there's that, which is the most important. And then figuring out about the dog. So, gotta take care of things, Charlie. We gotta take care of things.
It's like I'm dead. I mean, I hate to tell you this. It ain't a whole lot different. Oh, fuck.
No, please, I know.
Oh, fuck. I listen to everybody.
Donna's defense team argued she was a meddler, not a murderer. They claimed she believed Charlie's extortion story, that she'd acted out of love for her son, not guilt over a murder plot. They suggested other family members, particularly her children, had more involvement than she did. But the jury wasn't convinced. On September 4th, 2025, after just over 3 hours of deliberation, the same amount of time Charlie's jury had needed, Donna Adelson was found guilty on all 3 counts: first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation. She gasped as each verdict was read. She sobbed openly. The judge had to briefly remove the jury so she could collect herself. Ruth Markel gave another victim impact statement, describing over a decade of grief, of waiting for justice, of raising grandchildren who never know their father. On October 13th, 2025, Donna was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 30 years each for conspiracy and solicitation. At 75 years old, she would die behind bars. She maintained her innocence in an emotional statement to the court, calling the process a miscarriage of justice, claiming she'd been convicted without evidence. But the evidence had been overwhelming. The jury had seen through the lies. 5 people now convicted in Dan Markel's murder. 2 hitmen, a go-between, a son, a mother. A family conspiracy brought to light through years of meticulous investigation, through wiretaps and financial records, through testimony and recorded conversations. And still, one question remains unanswered. What about Wendy? Wendy Adelson has testified in every trial. She's been granted immunity for her testimony. She's denied any involvement in Dan's murder. But many, including prosecutors and those who followed this case closely, believe the investigation isn't over. Text messages show she communicated with Dan about his schedule the week he was killed. She drove by the crime scene the day of the murder, despite claiming she didn't know what had happened. When questioned by police immediately after, she mentioned her family as possible suspects. Assistant State Attorney Georgia Kappelman, when asked if Wendy should be worried about charges, simply said everyone can stay tuned. The same thing she said before Donna was arrested. The same thing that has this community waiting, watching, wondering if justice will find one more member of the Adelson family. This case reveals something chilling about human nature, about how privilege and wealth can create a dangerous sense of invincibility, about how family loyalty can twist into something monstrous, about how a custody dispute, something millions of divorced parents navigate without violence, can escalate into murder when people believe the rules don't apply to them. Charlie Adelson thought he was untouchable. He thought his money, his connections, his carefully constructed alibis would protect him. He thought speaking in codes, using intermediaries, washing money would keep him free. But he was wrong. Every phone call was recorded. Every payment was traced. Every lie was exposed. Donna Adelson thought she could flee the country rather than face justice. She thought booking a one-way ticket to Vietnam would save her from the consequences of her actions. But the FBI was waiting. Justice was waiting. Dan Markel was a devoted father, a brilliant scholar, a man whose life was stolen because he refused to give up his right to parent his children. His sons grew up without him. His parents spent over a decade fighting for accountability. His friends and colleagues never stopped seeking justice. This case reminds us that truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how deeply buried. That arrogance and wealth are no match for determined investigators and patient prosecutors. That families capable of love are also capable of unspeakable acts when that love becomes twisted by entitlement and rage. The Adelson family wanted Dan Markel gone so badly that they paid $100,000 to make it happen. They thought they planned perfectly. They thought they'd get away with it. They were wrong. Charlie Adelson sits in Columbia Correctional Institution, serving life without parole. Donna Adelson will spend the rest of her days behind bars. Catherine Magbanua, Sigfrido Garcia, and Luis Rivera are all imprisoned for their roles. 5 convictions, over 50 years of combined investigation and prosecution. And the shadow of this crime still hangs over the Adelson family. Remember the names. Dan Markel, a father and professor whose life mattered. Charlie and Donna Adelson, the family members who orchestrated his murder. Catherine Magbanua, Sigfrido Garcia, and Luis Rivera, the hired killers. This wasn't justice delayed. This was justice achieved through persistence, through evidence, through truth. And for Dan's parents, Ruth and Phil, for his family and friends, these convictions represent something precious. Accountability, closure, justice. If you found this deep dive into the Charlie Adelson case as captivating as we did, make sure you're subscribed to Dark Trail Files. Hit that like button, drop a comment telling us what aspect of this case shocked you most, and turn on notifications because we're committed to bringing you the most detailed, well-researched true crime content out there. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and remember that truth always finds its way to the surface. This has been Dark Trail Files.